What happens when someone raised in an economy of scarcity partners with someone from a culture of abundance? The answer reveals why many Western men find financial harmony with older Filipinas when financial disagreements remain the leading cause of divorce in their home countries. The economic landscape of the Philippines shapes financial behaviors in ways that many Westerners struggle to fully comprehend until they witness it firsthand. In a developing economy where resources are consistently limited, the daily reality demands a level of financial ingenuity that becomes second nature to those who live there. This environment necessitates a comprehensive approach to resource management that becomes deeply embedded in one's worldview. For many older Filipinas, growing up meant watching every peso, finding creative ways to extend resources, and developing an almost intuitive sense for distinguishing between essential needs and discretionary wants. These are survival skills honed through decades of practical application. When these women enter international marriages, they bring this financial acumen as perhaps their most undervalued asset. Daniel, a 47-year-old accountant from Boston, discovered this after marrying Angelina, who was 43 when they met. "I thought I understood money management since I literally do it professionally," he explains. "But Angelina showed me an entirely different dimension of financial thinking. She can stretch our budget in ways I never imagined possible without feeling deprived." What's more remarkable is how she turned our household finances into a collaborative project rather than a source of tension. This collaborative approach represents a significant shift from what many Western men experience in their home countries. While financial disagreements top the list of marriage stresses in America and Europe, older Filipinas often bring a refreshingly practical perspective that prioritizes financial security over consumption-based satisfaction. Like navigating a well-planned journey, financial harmony requires both a clear destination and adaptable navigation. Older Filipinas excel at this balance. Greg, an Australian business owner, noted how his marriage to Layla transformed his financial outlook. "Before meeting my wife, I followed the typical Western pattern: earn, spend, worry about tomorrow, later. Layla introduced me to financial planning that creates genuine security. She helped me understand that true financial freedom isn't about what you can buy, but what you don't need to worry about." This financial pragmatism emerges directly from the economic environment of the Philippines. When daily life requires stretching limited resources across extended family needs, women develop exceptional skills in budget management, creative problem solving, and long-term planning. These abilities translate remarkably well to international households, often balancing consumption-oriented Western approaches. Peter, a Canadian engineer who married Sophia when she was 48, describes this balance. "Sophia doesn't oppose spending on quality or experiences that matter to us. Instead, she brings thoughtfulness to our decisions. Before her, I'd make impulsive purchases without considering their long-term impact. Now, our financial conversations focus on aligning our spending with our values and future goals." It's actually liberating. The journey to financial stability becomes smoother when both navigators read from the same map. This value-based approach to finances reflects another important aspect of the financial wisdom older Filipinas bring to international marriages: their ability to separate financial worth from self-worth. In societies where conspicuous consumption often serves as a status marker, this perspective offers a healthy alternative that reduces financial pressure and relationship tension. Martin, who married Jocelyn after his divorce from his American wife, noted this difference explicitly. "With my ex, our financial discussions always became emotionally charged because spending was tied to self-image and status. With Jocelyn, money conversations are remarkably straightforward. She approaches finances as a practical tool for building our life together, not as a reflection of our worth or success." Beyond daily management, older Filipinas often bring sophisticated resource pooling strategies that enhance family financial resilience. Growing up in communities where resources are shared across extended families creates a natural understanding of how collaborative financial approaches can provide greater security than individualistic ones. Henry, a British consultant, experienced this shift after marrying Teresa. I was initially uncomfortable with Teresa's suggestion to completely merge our finances and create a single family budget. In my previous relationship, we maintained separate accounts and split expenses. 2 years into this new approach, I've seen how our financial intimacy has strengthened our partnership and actually improved our overall financial position. Every financial decision becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. The experience of economic uncertainty frequently creates a natural inclination toward diversified saving strategies. Adrian, a German engineer who married Christina when she was 51, discovered this aspect of his wife's financial acumen. Christina suggested we diversify our savings across multiple investment vehicles, including some I hadn't considered. Her approach wasn't based on investment theory, but on practical experience managing through economic uncertainties in the Philippines. Her instincts have proven remarkably sound even during market downturns. These practical financial skills are often complemented by a cultural emphasis on responsible resource management. Many older Filipinas view financial stewardship as a moral responsibility rather than simply a practical concern. This value-based approach frequently resonates with Western partners seeking greater meaning in their financial lives. Nathan, an American entrepreneur married to Marisol, reflects, "Marisol helped me see that how we manage our resources reflects our deeper values. Her approach to money is about ensuring our financial decisions align with what we believe about community responsibility and family care. It's given our financial life a purpose beyond just accumulation." Perhaps most significantly, older Filipinos often bring a balanced perspective that integrates traditional thrift with modern financial approaches. Victor, who married Lorena after meeting her through mutual friends, notes this balance. "Lorena is incredibly resourceful with our day-to-day expenses, finding ways to reduce waste and unnecessary spending. But she's also forward-thinking about investing in experiences and opportunities that enrich our lives. He distinguishes between meaningless consumption and meaningful investment better than anyone I've known." Emotional intelligence and relationship clarity. Beyond resourceful money management lies an even more valuable form of maturity. The development of emotional intelligence represents perhaps the most significant advantage that comes with age, one that transforms how a person handles their finances and navigates every aspect of a relationship. Emotional intelligence encompasses several critical components: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social skills, and motivation. While everyone possesses these qualities to some degree, they require cultivation through life experience to reach their full potential. For many older Filipinas, decades of navigating personal and professional relationships have served as a masterclass in understanding both their own emotional landscape and the emotions of others around them. This emotional journey creates a profound difference in relationship dynamics. When a man builds a life with a woman who has already completed significant emotional development, the partnership often feels remarkably different from the start. Rather than two people simultaneously trying to discover themselves while building a relationship, one partner brings a fully formed emotional foundation to the table. Consider the contrast with relationships involving younger partners. In many cases, those in their 20s and early 30s are still actively defining their identities, testing boundaries, and determining what they truly need from a partner. This ongoing process of self-discovery, while natural and important, can create relationship turbulence, as personal growth sometimes conflicts with relationship stability. Older Filipinas, having navigated decades of personal challenges, often arrive at relationships with a much clearer sense of self. This self-knowledge translates directly into relationship clarity. They know what they want, what they can offer, and what boundaries must be maintained for their well-being. They bring this wisdom as a foundational element from day one. Michael, who married Jasmine when she was 49, describes this clarity. There's no guesswork about what matters to her. When we met, Jasmine already understood her non-negotiables versus where she could be flexible. That clarity made our early relationship smoother than previous ones where we both had to figure out those boundaries through conflict. This self-awareness extends into communication patterns. Having experienced numerous relationship dynamics over decades, older Filipinos typically develop nuanced communication skills that allow them to express needs without creating unnecessary tension. They've learned the difference between productive discussions and pointless arguments, choosing their battles wisely. Eduardo, whose marriage to 46-year-old Leticia spans 12 years, notes, "When something bothers her, Leticia addresses it directly, but with remarkable sensitivity to timing and context. She never stores up complaints to use as ammunition later. There's a wisdom in how she communicates that I've never experienced with younger partners. Like a sturdy foundation supports a building through storms and earthquakes. Emotional maturity provides stability during relationship challenges." Studies consistently demonstrate a positive correlation between emotional maturity and relationship satisfaction. Emotionally mature individuals can identify emotions accurately, regulate their responses appropriately, and approach conflict as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. This foundation of emotional intelligence allows older Filipinos to provide intuitive support during difficult times. Their well-developed empathy skills allow them to sense when their partner needs encouragement, space, or practical assistance without requiring explicit requests. Sarah, an Australian married to 52-year-old Grace, describes this emotional attunement. Grace seems to have an almost supernatural ability to sense my emotional state. She knows when I need to talk versus when I need quiet processing time. That kind of emotional intelligence develops through years of paying attention to others. Building on this empathetic foundation, many older Filipinos bring realistic expectations about relationships. They've moved beyond idealized notions of romantic love to embrace a more grounded understanding of partnership. They recognize that lasting relationships require ongoing effort, compromise, and commitment to growth from both parties. This perspective shift removes much of the disappointment that can plague younger relationships when reality fails to match fantasy. Instead of becoming disillusioned when the initial romantic intensity naturally evolves, older Filipinos understand this evolution as a normal progression rather than relationship failure. From this realistic viewpoint comes effective conflict management. With decades of experience navigating disagreements, older Filipinos typically employ strategies for addressing problems without escalation. This skill allows them to maintain emotional equilibrium during disagreements, focusing on solutions rather than assigning blame. Robert, who married 54-year-old Maricel after a difficult divorce, highlights, "In my previous marriage, disagreements inevitably became about winning or losing. With Maricel, conflicts feel completely different. They're about understanding each other and finding a path forward." Her emotional stability during disagreements transformed my view of what conflict in marriage could look like. The emotional maturity developed over decades enables many older Filipinos to balance authentic expression with emotional control. They communicate feelings honestly without allowing emotions to override rational thinking or respectful communication. Thomas, a Canadian married to Maribel, describes this approach. Maribel never suppresses her feelings, but she also never lets them control her actions. She can be upset about something I've done while still treating me with fundamental respect. That ability to feel deeply while maintaining emotional responsibility is remarkable. This balanced emotional regulation culminates in clarity about relationship values. Older Filipinos typically understand what truly matters in sustainable partnerships, often prioritizing respect, commitment, shared purpose, and mutual support over superficial qualities. James, an Englishman married to Angelica for 7 years, reflects, Angelica focuses on the fundamentals of our relationship, how we treat each other, how we handle stress together, how we support each other's growth. She doesn't get distracted by minor irritations. Her emotional wisdom helps us both stay focused on what genuinely matters. This progression of emotional intelligence, from self-awareness through communication, realistic expectations, conflict management, emotional balance, to value clarity, creates partnerships characterized by remarkable stability. The drama and emotional turmoil often present in less emotionally developed relationships is notably absent, replaced by a steady foundation that weathers life's challenges. Carlos, a Spanish businessman married to 51-year-old Elena, summarizes, the emotional steadiness Elena brings creates a sense of safety we never knew was possible. We can face anything because our relationship itself isn't constantly in question. Her emotional intelligence means we solve problems together instead of creating new ones.